Next up, Russ and I are going to review Leon the Professional and unbox the Leon 4K from Everything Blue. Welcome back to 4K Kings. My name is Matt.
I am Russ. The 4K Kings are back in the motherfucking house, kicking that straight gangster shit for the 2024.
And welcome back to your home of physical media, movie reviews, and so much more. And today we're here to talk about the Leon 4K release from Everything Blue. And Russ, I have my copy right here. I've already taken the package off, but I have not removed the J cards or any of the stickers as of yet. But here it is. So this is Leon the Professional 4K release from Everything Blue. We got this through ZAVVI. This was the last title that they did before they ended their partnership. They started with Rambo, Fifth Element, and now Leon. It just came in the mail just in time for the holiday season. I'm such a lucky boy.
I'm such a lucky boy.
This title is arriving through Everything Blue in a steelbook, a collector's edition, and then a deluxe collector's edition. These nearly sold out instantly. I managed to snag this, and Russ, you snagged one as well.
That was the edition I received as well.
Russ, we're going to talk about this release in full. We're going to unbox it. We're going to go through all the details of this exquisite release, but also to tie in, we would do a little bit of review and discuss the film at length.
That sounds good.
Sound good to you? Okay. 1994, 30 years. Written and directed by Luc Besson. Is that how you say it?
Oh, yeah.
Besson? Luc Besson.
Luc Besson is the director. He has made a number of films that you know about, including La Femme Nikita, including The Professional.
About a hitman who takes in a girl whose family was murdered by a corrupt DEA agent. Besson had some credits prior, with his biggest film being La Femme Nikita, also known as The Point of No Return.
Then remade in America with Bridget Fonda.
The Point of No Return.
I thought there was an original La Femme Nikita, and then that was a remake.
Yeah, but I said that first, and you said it like I hadn't just said the same thing.
Didn't USA do a TV show?
They did. La Femme Nikita.
I haven't got time for this Mickey Mouse bullshit.
Jean Reno also in...
It's Jean Reno.
Jean Reno. La Femme Nikita, Jean Reno was in that as well. And Luc Besson said that he was the inspiration for the character of Leon. I knew sort of who Gary Oldman was, and I knew who Danny Aiello was, but other than that, the lead actors were basically unknown to me, and I'm pretty sure unknown at the time. Natalie Portman, this was her debut.
White dreadlock guy's one of my favorite actors.
You liked him? Great thespian.
Man, keep your bumbuckler mouth shut.
Overall, the movie was a hit in France with critics and audiences mostly positive in the US, and now us, the 4K Kings, we're here to give our definitive take on this cult classic.
Would you describe it as something that everyone could enjoy?
I do like, and this isn't anything new, but just like that trope of like a mild-mannered, thoughtful, childlike, expert killing machine. Like there's just like, you know, like there's those tropes in other movies too.
Yeah, it's sort of like the hooker with the heart of gold. There's also the hitman with the heart of gold trope.
Yeah, protecting what he loves, basically. Like he's willing to like die for that. But
no women, no kids.
No women, no kids. And I feel like the relationship element of it is kind of also what elevates it a little bit more. Just their friendship. I feel like that's obviously what the story is about, and just that simmering dread that you just kind of feel throughout the film. I always just feel like sort of there's like a simmering nature to it.
No, that's an excellent point. I never thought about that, but you're absolutely right. It does. Like there is no good outcome, and we know that right in the beginning. We see the whole girl's family murder.
Right.
So where do you go from here? I don't think Matilda is going to have a great life after this.
No, it's probably not going to end well for anybody. But again, their relationship, the weight of it is really what makes the stakes so high. The cast, I think, was great as far as, again, the people that weren't really known at the time to me, and the old pros. But no, Jean Reno, when you can be like this hitman that people can like feel pity for or sorrow for, or kind of like relate to you, not on the level that you're just there to entertain by killing other people.
Well, you believe both.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
What he is great in that. You believe that he has this childish innocence, but you also believe that he'd be hanging from the ceiling with two guns ready to go.
Dude, yes.
It's like, I believe he's capable of both.
That's a good point. He handles all of that physicality stuff with such power, and I feel like he's real meek otherwise. Jean Reno really did an awesome job with that too. I think it was a comment that he made. He said it was a conscious choice for him to play the character a little bit repressed, a little bit emotionally slow, so that the audience doesn't worry about him with Matilda.
But just about to say that, I was like, and that plays into why it ultimately works
Yeah.
is because you don't for a second think he wants to do anything malicious with her.
Not at all. Not
if
at all.
anything, the creepy factor in it is you kind of feel like she wants to.
She's got like a crush and is maybe taking it too far.
That's credit to Gene, credit to, Beeson. How they pulled it off, it doesn't venture into that territory of where I feel like, hey, this adult is going to harm this child.
And speaking of Natalie Portman, her very first role friggin' nails it. I think all the different emotional states that she goes through in this film, whether it's the terror of like knocking on the door to be let in because her family was just murdered, the love elements that you were speaking on, her kind of like fawning over him, all the different range of emotions that she has to portray, she does a great job.
It's a lot to ask of a child actor, and it's even more to ask of a child actor when the film centers around you and you're practically in every scene.
Yeah.
She's in more scenes than Gene is.
Natalie Portman, she was 11, and after 20 minutes, the first day of shooting, after 20 minutes, she said, okay, I want to stop, I want to play. I said, what do you mean to play? Yeah, to play, I don't know, balloon, soccer. And I realized that, she's 11. She, her power of concentration was around 20 minutes.
She is the main character of this film.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. And I love in the beginning when she has to walk by while her family's being massacred and pretend like she doesn't know and just hope that someone answers the door. Like, dude, that's a tense scene. And she's incredible in that scene. Dude, how many kid actors could play that off?
I'm sorry about your father.
Anyway, if somebody didn't do it someday or another, I would have probably done it myself.
This could have gone so far left. This could have been an awful movie. Like, it's got all those elements, like I said, the plot, the pacing, the visuals and all that stuff. But without that heart and soul of the movie and her being that, this movie falls flat. And I feel like she makes sure that doesn't happen. Gary Oldman. How many people think Gary Oldman's the best character in this film?
Everyone.
Excellent. Great. And that was me fooling around. Yeah? It was improvised? Yeah. That was just me doing it as a joke. And then he kept it.
And this was one of the very first movies to sort of catch my eye because I feel like I knew of him, but I don't think when I saw this, I was like, who is this guy? Like, this is nuts. Like, all of his improvisation on set, like that whole Beethoven speech, they did that apparently like 5 or 10 times. And he came up with a different story every single time they did it.
He just played Beethoven.
Had he?
Yeah, there's a movie called Immortal Beloved.
You don't know what you're missing.
Even the everyone line, that was improvised. It was meant to be a joke because they had to do that take so many times and they did it a few different ways, but he never screamed. And then on the last take, he just like turns around and does it. That was supposed to be like a throwaway gag and they kept it and it friggin' works.
Yeah.
Similar to you, I was blown away by Natalie Portman and the acting in general. One performance I'd go into that you didn't mention is the late, great Danny Aiello.
Oh, he's awesome.
I think he brings, similar to what you said Gene brought, there's a kind of a warmth to him, but not in a silly warmth, like he's cold, he's, the boss or whatever. But even like when Matilda goes to him at the end, he's hard with her as he would be. He shouldn't care about her at all. And I always felt like Danny Aiello is so great at doing these kinds of roles where it's like you're a bad guy, but like you're not.
Yeah.
Like he's so great at that.
I think the other one main thing I wanted to talk about too was the visuals, the location, cinematography, and so on. I think it's beautifully shot. I think it captures all of the action in a really, really compelling way. I love that one shot when the cops are about to storm the room and they shoot that missile and the camera goes with it. There's just certain elements, like you said, like him hanging from the ceiling, like that one beginning part where like that guy's backed into a corner and he comes out from the shadows. Like even just New York, it feels gritty. Everything's hot. Everyone's wet. And that iconic scene of them walking over the hill, she's carrying like the plant, like that is such a great shot. Like there's just so much character.
I lost my shit when the credits came up and that Sting song came on.
Yeah.
He deals the cards as a meditation.
I never heard that before, but I'm a huge Nas fan. As soon as the credits roll, oh, fake thug, no love, you get the slice.
I did want to talk a little bit about things that people have like levied against it or just the nitpicks that you could have. But the one thing that comes up a lot is, was Natalie Portman in some way taken advantage of?
They protected me really well so that I was never subjected to any kind of weirdness that I've heard, colleagues, peers of mine who were child doctors saying that they had seen drugs or that they had like weird passes made at them. I never had anything like that because my parents were like hovering.
I always felt like, okay, this is a childlike man who's basically asexual. Like I never even don't even think like he's got romantic feelings for anyone or anything except for his fucking plant.
I like it.
A childlike man who becomes like a father figure mentor type. She who has just like experienced an extreme trauma, like her whole family's just murdered and she's like reeling with different emotions. She's got a crush. I never felt like the movie crossed the line in that sort of way.
I don't at all with anything you just said. I'm not talking about the plot though. I'm talking about like when I watch it and I'm imagining asking and describing to a girl like how you have to perform this and all that. That's what makes me uncomfortable. And maybe it's having two cuts. It's that obvious to see, maybe that's the problem. I don't know, but I mean, I couldn't shake it on that international cut.
There's a lot of things that they did do in the movie to really try to make sure you don't feel that way. And then there's a lot of things that were in like some original scenes and stuff that were cut that when they watched it back, they were like, this is making me feel this way. Dude, cut this out.
I have a first version, and then we did a screen test in US, and everything went very well for an hour and a half. And then suddenly, there is one scene. It was Matilda saying to Leon, I want you to be my first lover. And one guy say, no fucking way. And then 200 people stand up and leave.
That's what I'm saying. And wow, the stuff that made the cut makes me uncomfortable. So imagine what was cut.
What's in the theatrical current one that makes you uncomfortable?
Honestly, the only thing in that one that always felt kind of weird was I always thought they lingered on that when they're trying on outfits. The Marilyn Monroe thing was sexual.
According to Luke and Jean, that scene that you're speaking of where she's trying on dresses or whatever or he buys her a dress, she tries it on. They didn't rehearse that scene at all because they wanted to get real awkward reactions from both of them to make the scene feel awkward because it should be awkward. Like they didn't want it to come across like now I'm watching you in like a sexual way.
Dude, it's like watching Jeepers Creepers 2. And it's like, the guy who directed it molested minor males. And then you see everybody on this school bus taking their shirts off. Dude's like, hey, let's go take a piss together, boys. All right, slap ass. And it's like, what the fuck? And that's what some of that stuff in The Professional feels like. In the American cut, they did a decent job of sanitizing it. Even hearing that there was shit that was cut because they felt that way.
The one scene where she asks him she's like, I want you to be my lover, I think she says to him.
In my head, totally innocent. I mean, I thought it was funny because she obviously doesn't know what she's talking about. She's 12. So it was more the situation.
So in the theatrical version, you're totally fine, except for the dress part, a little uncomfortable. International cut, what were they thinking? And I hope Natalie's okay.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah,
okay. Sum it up. You're right. That international cut I have seen, because I've seen Leon a ton of times. The difference in the international cut's about 20 minutes. In that version, you get like 2 or 3 different scenes where Matilda is on different jobs with Leon as practice, and then more of their relationship kind of being expounded upon. A lot of it I feel like I'm glad that it's gone because she didn't need to become a killer. Like you didn't need to see her go on job. They tested out a little bit, but it's more to show like this isn't the life you should have. Yeah. So like when they have all this extra stuff, it really just changes the dynamic of what I feel like the true movie should be.
In fact, my goal is to stop people eating popcorns.
Let's put the bow on Luc Besson real quick. He had been accused of sexual assault. It was dropped. However, the woman whom he married at that age, because that's the consenting age wherever they're from,
France, right?
She stated later on that the relationship you see in Leon is basically those two, him and I. Like our relationship was, I was super young. He was this like guy that I was enamored with, and he was my mentor and all this kind of thing. And that's what he filmed.
But that's all legal in France?
At 16 it is. Another nitpick I have is that Matilda planted the plant at the end in the ground, which it would surely die because it's a house plant, and I know she wanted to give it roots, but that plant cannot live in the earth.
Why are you so mean to me?
I feel like our niche of people that watch this channel and like are into physical media, I feel like our niche probably, we've all heard of this movie. We probably all like this movie to some degree, but I wonder why this movie never got the wider appeal.
I think we nailed it.
Luc Besson followed this up with The Fifth Element, which was another Everything Blue release. I never saw that film, but it might be the only film, in my opinion, that's even close to The Professional in terms of like cachet. Natalie Portman went on to be an Academy Award-winning actress. And after iconic villain Norman Stansfield, Gary Oldman went on to play Rolf in Tiptoes.
It is a glorious part, a dream of a role.
Why didn't you tell your girlfriend about us? What's it to you, man?
And now let's talk about the release that has been waiting. Basically, if you don't know who Everything Blue is at this point, you haven't been watching this channel. We've covered them for a long time, from the days that they were doing their own releases on their own website, then when they moved over to ZAVVI and they did Rambo, The Fifth Element, and now Leon. When you look at this package, it basically kind of reminds you a little bit of a standard sort of collector's edition where you've got a hard outer box, you've got something slid inside as well as the release itself. A two-person operation, which I think is pretty cool. You've got an art director, creative designer, a good friend of the channel, Dinier, who has commented on our videos in the past, and we've been corresponding with Everything Blue for quite some time, since the beginning of the channel. And then his partner, who handles sort of all the business affairs. So everything that you see Everything Blue doing, Dinier is the one responsible, from the artwork to the materials that get included and all the design of the steelbook and the outer packaging. Although we are not corporate shills yet, Russ, we're here to fawn over this release, even though we're not shills yet, but Dinier and Everything Blue will be shills. Just give us the chance. But I've never actually had one of their releases in hand, and it is really a sight to behold. It's very impressive in terms of the packaging itself, what they are capable of doing, and what I feel like makes them stand out. Basically, you have a really glossy section with Leon, Matilda, and the characters. You've got everything else is textured, this really awesome, like rigid texture feel. The title, Leon himself, is a little bit reflective. Everything about this just is amazing. Like, I just love how this turned out.
I was more than ecstatic to have it arrive, less than ecstatic to discover the spine was damaged on mine. So
yeah, I will say, and nothing against Everything Blue whatsoever, because they don't have this. This isn't in their control. But my copy also was shipped in a box with zero padding. It was an oversized box, so it was jingling around inside, and the bottom of the box was already opened. It had like folded in. It had opened up. So I'm so lucky that mine turned out as well as it did.
I'm such a lucky boy.
This had a wrapper on it, which I took off. The other thing that I kind of liked was that the steelbook itself also had its own wrapper. So the steelbook itself is also an exclusive design from Everything Blue. It's got this J card on here, which I'll take off. The steelbook itself looks great. I love this color. You're right, Russ. It looks amazing in person. It really turned out well. And it's slightly different art than what's on the outer box, which I like. You know, having different art for both. Not the same thing. I think that's
the same
nice.
motif.
The same motif. So you have this folder on the inside that opens up. And again, it's all original art. And then on the inside, you can pull this out, and it's got this nice sort of like pocket that everything's stored in. Character cards of every single one. They're oversized. It's a really nice matte finish. I think those look great. You have this desktop sort of poster that you can pop this open and sort of put this on your desk.
That's sweet.
Kind of cool.
I like that.
I know. I like that too. We might put that behind us. I think that looks really neat. And then on the inside, you have some additional things that are all in a really nice wrapper. Inside, we've got a grenade pin. We've got a hotel key. We have a nice little booklet here with, again, more stills. You have this little print of Matilda looking badass here. More character cards. Let's see. So these are actually scenes from the movie. You got the plant. There is a J card on here, and all of these releases that I've ever seen from Everything Blue, they come with a card that's got the number on here, so it's like a certificate of authenticity. And then one other thing that I want to showcase about what Everything Blue is about and what they do, and one thing that I think really impresses me, and we've actually had an opportunity to talk to Dinier before at length, just different times we've kind of caught up, and one of the things that he's always impressed upon us, and something I've always kind of thought, is that this is an outfit of fans creating for fans. Like, they love these movies and love physical media as much as we do. And the one thing that he mentioned is that he's always in forums and always listening and checking out what people are saying, complaining about how can they make things better or do different things. The one thing that he mentioned, and we've talked about this before, is do you keep the J card or don't keep the J card? You throw it away, you keep it. I know a lot of people save it. I know I've been guilty of throwing it away. And a lot of what he has seen in forums and message boards is, I wish that there was a way to keep it with everything in these boxes because it's just too big. Like it's oversized around the whole thing. So this steelbook, when you pull it out, it's got this J card on it. And it's actually a really nice quality. It's a good like card stock. It's not a loose, like a piece of paper. And the J card itself fits so snugly on there that it goes right into the box. So you can keep the J card nice if you want to in the box.
One thing that bugs me is when you do have a steelbook, for instance, and you remove the J card, sometimes I just want to look like, wait, did that have a commentary by Bo? And I can't.
And you won't know
it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a steelbook. It was on the J card. So I love that you can hold on to it and just keep it inside the package itself.
I think that's innovation. That is innovation. Dude, that's innovation. That's really smart. Like you said, there's no way to keep that J. You fold it in half and stick it in there. You're going to put it in a case, or you're going to just keep all of your releases with J cards around them. This gives you the opportunity to have a J card on the back of the box, on the actual steelbook, and it all fits together.
Well, turns out, Matt, I may be traveling to the UK at some point this next year.
Wow.
And I want to see if somebody can show me around. We have any fans in the UK?
We have a lot of fans in the UK, Russ. I'm sure somebody would let you crash at their house. Who will let Russ stay at their house?
Well,
They're flat.
I'd have to stay there for like a day. I was trying to make like at least a day or two out of it before going to Prague. But to go to Prague, you have to stop in London from where we are. I'm trying to link up with some physical media enthusiasts.
But just to wrap up, absolutely ecstatic about that release. I think it looks awesome. The transfer itself, this movie's been out in 4K for a while. So again, Everything Blue isn't breaking new 4Ks. They're taking what's existing and really giving the fans something that's memorable. And this is the most memorable Leon release that I've seen. I think it looks awesome. Let us know if you've picked this up as well. If you got the even bigger one that's got even more things that go along with it and an even bigger outer clamshell box. Shout out to Idinier for bringing this to us once again. Check him out at Everything Blue on Instagram, as well as Art of the Steel, where he's got all of his designs and everything up there. Legendary film, Russ. I love Leon the Professional in all its flaws.
It's a conflicted love with me, Matt. It's a conflicted love with me.
Legendary film, legendary package to go along with it.
The package is legendary.
You're conflicted about the packaging too.
I'm conflicted about what Luc Besson was doing with his package.
Will this be in my top 5 of the year, Russ?
It'll be in the FBI's most wanted top 5.
So come back soon. Thank you for checking this out. If you like Leon as well, let us know. If you picked up this release, let us know. We'll be back soon with our top 5 of the year and our top 5 losers of physical media of the year as well.